There we go. Cool. So similar to last week, we're going to work on the positions that we need to be strong in for our handstands, the mobility aspect as well, before we start throwing weight on our shoulders. Okay, so you will be upside down in the class today, but it'll be the same as last week when you were on the box or on the couch or something like that. But we're going to progress a little bit further than we did from last week. Now, if you didn't do last week, it's fine because we were going to go through everything we did last week anyway before we get to the new stuff, so it's cool. And then any part that we get to, if you get stuck, the stage that we've just worked on is sort of that limit that you're at, and you're going to continue with that. Right? So with our warm-up, same as last week, we have those four wrist positions that we're going to rock back and forward, side to side, and round on. So we're going to start with the fingers facing forward. So we're just looking for the shoulder over the wrist the whole time to set up. Now, all I'm going to do is rock forward and then back to the left, to the right. And I'm going to do a circle left to right, and then a circle right to left. So if you do that now, and then beautiful. Once we've gone fingers facing forward, there's a dog in the camera, we're going to go fingers out to the side, left and right. So we're just externally rotating our shoulders a little bit. And again, we're going to go forwards, backwards, left, right, circle to the right, and then circle to the left. Gently, nothing too crazy. Cool. And when we've done that, our fingers are going to then internally rotate, and our fingers are pointing together. Try and keep those elbows as straight as we can. We're going to go left, right, circle one way, circle back the way, back and forward. It doesn't really matter what order you do it in as long as we hit each position. And then the last one, we're going to bring those hands all the way around so the fingers are facing in towards our knees. Forwards, backwards, side, side, circle one way, circle the other way. Cool. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to bring our knees in as close to our wrists as we can. And then we're just going to sit back onto our heels, fingers still pointing towards the knees. Yeah, and feel that stretch. And now we're slowly going to release from that. The last one we're going to do is the backs of your hands. We're going to pop those on the floor, and you're just going to gently press through. Release them the other way. Gently, gently. Nice, and relax. Cool. So wrists are stretched off. Now we're just going to get them moving. So interlink the fingers together. We're going to slam our elbows together the whole time. So the whole time, elbows, try and keep those tight together as we can. Now the idea is you're going to go 10 seconds in one direction of a circle, and then we're going to go 10 seconds back the way, and then we're going to go through that 4 times. So we're going to go twice each direction, and we'll start in 3, 2, 1. Elbows together, circles through, 10 seconds going to the right, and we'll change in 3, 2, 1, and the other way. Try and get as much movement through the rest as you can. 3, 2, 1, and back the other way. 3, 2, 1, and back. And 3, 2, 1, go. Cool. Last one we're going to do is those waves that everyone had fun with last time. So we're going to try and keep our elbows as square as we can. Okay, so I'm not tipping my shoulders up and down. I'm just trying to keep my elbows as square as I can, and we're just doing waves through the wrist. The elbows will move, but try not to just lead it up and down. We're going to change direction in 3, 2, 1. This is a bit that confuses people. Try and go the other way. So those elbows start flying over. And rest there, guys. Cool. shake them out. So what we're going to go into now is opening up the shoulders, stretching off the lats a little bit. Jen, you might feel this from doing those stretches the other day. So we're going to go single arm, 20-second stretch on each side. So it's 20 seconds in the stretch, a 10-second rest, 20 seconds on the other side, a 10 seconds rest, twice through. Okay, so twice on each arm. And then we're going to do both, but I'll show you what that is again. So when I get myself into the position, what we're looking for is that my fingers are facing directly up to the ceiling. Okay, we're not going to let our arm internally rotate. What's going to want to happen when you drop your chest is your arm's going to want to internally rotate, but you're going to stop that by popping the free arm on that arm to stop it caving in. Okay, you're going to fight against it. So all I'm going to do, if I show you from this side, elbow goes on the chair, the bed, the box, whatever it may be, fingers facing to the ceiling. I'm squeezing my abs down the way. I don't want to see a big arch in my spine. So squeeze the abs, brace with the other arm, and I'm going to drop my head through the window and feel that stretch. So we're going to feel the stretch probably in the front of our delts. I can definitely feel it in my lats. You're going to hold that for 20 seconds, just trying to drop that chest down further and further as we sink into it. Okay, so figure it out, feel it out, and then we'll get going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 20 seconds. Remember to breathe. If you're finding it hard to get your head through the gap, you can shuffle your knees back a little bit. It just lets your chest drop slightly. Make sure the whole time we're squeezing those abs as tight as we can, as if someone was going to come kick you in the stomach. And you're going to rest in 2, 1, and slowly come out. And then switch arms over. And you're going into that second side in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Try and get those fingers pointing directly up to the ceiling. Try not to let the shoulder internally rotate. Nice. We're going to rest in 3, 2, 1. And swap back over to the other side. And we're going again in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Remember to breathe, tighten those abs up, try and sink the chest as close to the floor as we can. 2, 1, and swap over. I had to meet you, Greg, sorry, mate. Last one in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Sinking the chest down. Abs are tight. Fingers to the ceiling. Feel the stretch. And we're going to come out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cool. Last part. We're going both arms, okay, and we're just going for 1 30-second hold. Now, obviously, our fingers aren't going to be pointing to the ceiling this time because there's nothing to support it. But all we're going to do is just pop your hands on your elbows, okay, opposite hand to opposite elbow if we can. Pop those flat on that surface. Squeeze the abs as tight as we can, and then drop the chest down as low as we can. Remember to breathe, try not to hold your breath. And we'll go in 5, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Hand on elbow. Nice. Sink the chest down. Good. So remember to breathe. As we get into it, make sure we're still squeezing those abs. Try and sink that chest a little lower. We got 10 seconds left, I think. 5, 3, 2, 1. Cool. Can't tell if that was 30 seconds or 40 seconds, but it was at least 30 seconds. Cool. So now hopefully our wrists are warmed up, shoulders are a bit loose, lats are a bit looser. And now we're going to move into that the turtle shape that we talked about last week. Okay, so points to remember is that everything we do when our arms are up over our head, yeah, it looks like, so my arms are straight, might look like I have active shoulders, but what I want to see is that your shoulder is trying to hide those ears. Okay, so I'm not, my shoulder blades aren't down. What I'm trying to do is drive them up as high as I possibly can, and both of my shoulders hide my ears. Okay, again, we're not down here, we're up here. Yeah, pressing away as much as we can, even when we're not upside down. So the whole time you should feel the top of your shoulder touching your ear as close as you can. So hiding those ears, we're squeezing our bum as tight as we can. We're squeezing our abs as tight as we can, okay? And in this drill, you're trying to get your armpits as close to the floor as you possibly can at the same time as you press through with your hands, right? So if we haven't seen it or if we've forgotten, the idea is I'm going to get myself flat on the floor, bring my feet together, I'm pointing my toes away from me and I'm squeezing my bum as tight as I possibly can. Now, what I'm going to do is get my hands up in front of me, arms extended. So here, yes, my arms are straight, but what I can do to change this position is then press my shoulders up into my ears. So I'm here, okay? So I'm hiding my ears. Now, all I'm going to do is try and push my arm into the floor, my armpit into the floor, at the same time as trying to pick my chest up off of the floor, okay? So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to press down, bring the chest off, and I'm squeezing my abs as tight as I possibly can. And we're going to hold in that position, okay? So the idea is I'm not letting my shoulder blades sink down. I'm pressing away, as well as pressing down, armpit as close to the floor as possible, trying to pick my chest up off of the floor. And we're going to hold. So you're not going to rise much. You're only going to lift off the floor, what, an inch or so, 2 inches? And we're trying to create as much tension as we possibly can. So the idea there, if I was up here, is that we're trying to avoid being in this position, and we're trying to create this position here. Okay, I'm pressing my arm down into the floor as well as pressing it up at the same time as bringing my chest down and squeezing my abs as tight as I possibly can. Make sense? Beautiful. So this time, the way we're going to run this is, last time we held for 10 seconds and we had 10 seconds off, and we did that for 3 rounds, 3 sets, okay? Today, we're going to go 15 seconds in the position, 15 seconds rest, okay? You're going to do that 3 rounds, then you're going to rest a minute, and we're just going to go through that twice, okay? So 15 on, 15 off, 15 on, 15 off, 15 on, 15 off, a minute rest, repeat the whole thing. Yeah? Cool. Beautiful. So if you want to get yourself set up and ready to go, and we'll get ready in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 15 seconds. Bum squeeze as tight as you can. Hide those ears with the shoulders. So we're pressing up straight at the same time as keeping those armpits into the floor as close as we can. Squeezing those abs as tight as we can. In 3, 2, 1, and you're going to rest there, guys. Nice. 15 seconds off, and then we're going to go again. So again, we're pressing up at the same time as down, at the same time as bringing that chest down as much as we can. We're going again in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Good, guys. Bum squeezed. Abs tight. Trying to lift that chest up off of the floor. And rest. Beautiful. Breathe. Last week we were feeling it in the front of those shoulders. Some of us were feeling it in our lats. So we might feel those familiar positions again. And last one in this set, we're going in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Yeah, front of your shoulders, Greg. Good. Press down the whole time. Pressing away also. So try and get those fingertips as far away from your body as possible. Hide those ears. 5 seconds. Remember to breathe. 2, 1, and rest. Cool. We have a minute to rest. So if you have any questions, give me a shout. I think all of you are on mute, so you might have to come off mute if you have a question. But yeah, when we go into the second set of your 3 rounds, again, we're pressing up with the shoulders, down with the arms, trying to get those armpits as close as we can. But the main thing is here is that we're bringing our chest in. So we're trying to suck the rib cage in the way and down the way, as opposed to extending the spine, right? We want a little bit of flexion in the spine. 30 seconds and we go again. $20 seconds. Good, guys. 10 seconds. And we're going for those 3 rounds. Exact same thing. Make sure we're squeezing that bum as well. Squeeze it as tight as you possibly can. And we're going in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Shoulders hiding the ears, pressing up as well as down into the floor. Bring that chest up off the floor. Think bad deadlift position. Slight arch at the back. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Beautiful. 15 seconds off. And we're going again in 5, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. How much tension can you create from your fingertips, through your shoulders, down through your abs, through your butt, and into your toes? And rest there, guys. Beautiful. We got one more. And we're going in 5. Last one. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. There we go. Strong, Greg. Good man. Good, Jen. Nice, Jimmy boy. Strong, Tony. Good job. 3 seconds, guys. As much tension as you can. And rest. Beautiful. Cool. Nice. So that position that we're holding there, obviously it's forcing our shoulders back a little bit, maybe a little bit uncomfortable. We're squeezing our core as much as we possibly can. We're hiding those ears with the shoulders. We're squeezing our abs, squeezing our bum, right? All of that should be present when we chuck ourselves upside down, whether it be on a box, whether it be on a wall, whether it be a handstand walk, something like that, right? Anytime that we're practicing the movement, ideally we're looking for the wrist underneath the shoulder. Okay, obviously when we're upside down, or shoulder over wrist. If you see us, or if you do them yourself doing handstand push-ups, you'll see a few of us going slightly wider. Okay, that's because we all have poor handstand positions. Yeah, and a few of us are trying to make the movement a little bit easier than it should be. Okay, so have a look out for those people who are doing handstand push-ups away out here. They're cheating, right? So they're just making the range of movement a little less, making the movement a little bit easier. But when we're focusing solely on the positioning, okay, we're going to try the harder version. Okay, so wrist underneath the shoulder. And then if we came to press through that eventually, as we will, that's going to be harder than it would be if we took our hands slightly wider. But if you practice the harder skills, then when you can adapt it slightly in a workout, then it's a little bit easier, right? A little bit more efficient. So always train the harder version. It's why we always do strict versions before we do kipping versions, right? One, so we build the base strength through the movement to protect our shoulders or our spine, wrists, whatever it may be, depending on the movements, lats. And then we add the more sort of dynamic, efficient versions with the kip. But we should always build that strength foundation through the strict stuff first. Yeah, beautiful. Cool. So what we're going to move on to is the one that everyone had an absolute meltdown with on the wall last time, right? So the idea here, again, to make this harder, you bring your heels closer into the wall. The further your heels are away, the easier this is going to be, right? But at no point do we compromise the shape in our spine to get our arms to the wall. I'd rather your arms were off of the wall, but you were concentrating on squeezing that core as tight as you possibly can with a slight arch. So anytime we're in a handstand, it's almost bad deadlift position. So it's that turtle shape here where I'm squeezing my rib cage down and not this extended position here, because that's going to put all the pressure on my lower back, especially when I chuck my body weight up onto my shoulders, right? So the idea on the wall, what we're looking for again is, now if I was to stand like this, I just can't do it at all. But I'm going to take a step away, okay? I'm going to squeeze my rib cage down as much as I possibly can. My lower back's pressed into the wall, and my shoulders are on the wall to start with. But as you see, if I put my arms up over my head, press away to hide my shoulders, if I was to get my arm to touch the wall, my back suddenly extends and I'm now in this position here, right? Whereas I'd rather you were here. So we're in this position. So if I come back into the wall now, you can see I'm finding it hard to get my arm anywhere close to the wall without having to arch in my back, right? Don't compromise this position in your back and your core to get to here, okay? That'll come. The more we mobilize our shoulders and we get used to the positions, our arms will get closer and closer to the wall, okay? But the idea is we're squeezing our abs as much as we can. We're squeezing our bum, lower back's on the wall. Arms are up overhead. I'm pressing away and I'm trying to pull the shoulders back towards the wall at the same time as squeezing my abs as much as I possibly can, okay? So again, I'm pressing up and pulling back at the same time as squeezing my abs as much as I can. So again, yes, the end goal is we get our shoulder blades on the wall, as well as our whole arm, but that's going to come, okay? If you're super mobile and super flexible and you can do that straight off, perfect. Most of us aren't quite there yet, so don't compromise the core and your torso position to try and get your arm to the wall, right? So in this one, what we're going to go is same idea, 15 seconds on, 15 seconds off, 3 rounds, 1 minute off, repeat the whole thing again. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so where's my timer? All right, and we're going to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Arms straight up overhead. Squeeze that rib cage down. Try not to extend in the back. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Woo, buddy. Cool. So the same time we're pressing up, and this time we're pulling back, okay? Pulling back without compromising what our torso is doing. So don't let your abs loose. Squeeze them as tight as you can. And we're going again in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Good, guys. Don't forget to press up as if you had a 100-kilo barbell and your hands press up against that the whole time. Hide those ears with the shoulders. Squeeze those abs as tight as we possibly can. And rest. Beautiful. We'll go one more in this set before we rest. And we're going in 5, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Pressing up. Pulling back, hiding those ears, opening up those shoulders, squeezing those abs as tight as we can. And rest. Nice. Cool. We have 1 minute off. If you have any questions, give me a shout.
Liam, just to check, which way are your hands facing? Are they in or are they?
So when we're up top, if we can have them, like if we're down on the floor here, sort of externally rotated, if I did that up overhead to externally rotate, we're probably going to see the way you had them first, right? So fingertips to the sky, same way as we did the stretch. So palms together. Yeah, you could play about with where they are and kind of loosen off the full range, but ideally we've got them facing palms together.
Thank you.
$15 seconds. Okay, and we're going in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Abs as tight as we possibly can. Pick a point in front of you. Just keep your eyeballs on it. Try not to look at the floor. Whole time, building as much tension as we can. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Awesome. Shake those shoulders off. We got 2 more to go. So remember that turtle shape we had on the floor. We're bringing that rib cage in. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. We're pressing up with the shoulder to hide the ears. We're bringing the rib cage in. We've got that arch, turtle power. Squeezing those abs as much as we possibly can. 3, 2, 1. We got 1 more. 1 to go. In 5, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Last one, guys. Build as much tension as we possibly can. Squeezing that rib cage down, squeezing the abs, hiding those shoulders, hiding those ears, those shoulders. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Cool. Rest. Nice. So now you're going to get upside down. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll just quickly pass through a few of the positions before we get into the next one, just to give you a guide on what one you're gonna hold for our last little bit. So as we built through it, your mushroom shape, if you want to call it that. If you're doing handstand push-ups on the box in the gym, we've got those 2 options. You can either go from your knees or from your toes. Okay. So the first one, if you want to call it your mushroom shape, is from your knees, right? So the idea there is, I'll show you on the bed, but the idea is, again, I'm pressing into the floor this time. So I'm going to press into the floor to hide my ears with my shoulders. Okay. Again, we're looking for wrist underneath the shoulder, but we can play about with that depending on how mobile we are. And that's the ideal position. Okay. Straight lines. Rib cage, sucking it down. So we've got that slight arch. Okay. And then that's all going to be present while I'm upside down, trying to breathe, trying to think about where everything is at the same time, right? So just think about hide the ears, squeeze the abs, okay? And we'll fix the other bits that need fixed. So from your knees, you're going to get up onto your bench or whatever it may be. Get those hips up as high as we can and bring the hands in as close as we can. So from here, I'm squeezing my abs, I'm pressing into the floor to hide my ears, and I'm trying to bring my chest and my head that way towards my legs to come through the gap. And we're squeezing against the floor, squeezing the abs as tight as we possibly can. We want to avoid setting up here and then ending up out this way. Okay? That's the sort of range of motion we'll pass through when we come to doing handstand push-ups, but that's not your start or your finish position. That's in between. Okay, so that's the dynamic piece. We're trying to strengthen your starting position. So if anything, if we are here, we're trying to avoid being out here, and we're trying to get as close to through here as we possibly can, if that makes sense. Yeah, cool. So you're going to go jump up into that position, and we're just going to hold for 10 seconds and just feel it out. And we're going to progress through them as we go. So this one from the knees. I'll let you all kind of get set up and get ready in 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Nice. So there we go. Trying to get our shoulders to hide the ears. We're squeezing that rib cage in. We're trying to get the hips as close to over our shoulders as we can, but that'll come through the next couple of progressions. And rest. Come out with that. Beautiful. Try not to take all your clothes off. Just see. Nice. Cool. So the progression from there would be up onto our toes into that piked position. So you've maybe seen this or done this as a handstand push-up off of the box. So it's the same idea, but this time I'm going to put a little bit more body weight through my shoulders, making it a little bit more intense by popping up onto my tiptoes. So my toes are on the bed. Again, so here I'm just in a plank. I'm trying to get my hips as close to up over my shoulders as I possibly can. I'm going to press through the floor, hide the ears, squeeze my abs as tight as I can and try and open up my shoulders as much as possible and try and avoid being away out here. Whew. As my t-shirt falls off. So that's the idea for this one. All the same stages are present. We're pressing through the floor, trying to hide those ears. We're squeezing the abs as much as we can, trying to get the head through the window. You've maybe heard us say that with the barbell before. It's the same idea. We're trying to get our head forward, not hand in front. Okay, imagine you got the barbell. You're trying to keep that over the crown of your head. Yeah? Cool, guys. We're going to hold for 10 seconds in this one. And we're going to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Nice, team. There we go. Press through. Beautiful. Squeeze the abs as tight as we possibly can. Breathe and rest. Nice. Beautiful. Awesome. Cool. So, if you have any questions, give me a shout.
Liam, see when you say head through the window, what way do you mean again?
So, in the case where you are, you're trying to get your head as close to your toes as possible. So, if we think the position we were in on the floor, head through the window is your head into the ground, shoulders coming back the way towards the back of your head.
Brilliant.
Instead of coming in front.
Yeah, brilliant.
Cool. No worries. Sweet. So the next stage that we played about with last time was the shrugs. We did some piked shoulder shrugs, right? We didn't do much of them, but that just gives you the kind of idea, the feel between pressing through the floor as well as, yeah, I'm in the position, but my shoulder blades are down. So we're going to pass through essentially this motion here while we're up in the pike position. I'm pressing through the floor and then I'm going to release, press, release. So again, we're only going to drop an inch, if that, okay? Now all you're going to do is you're going to give me 5 controlled reps, okay? So start off with hiding the ears, show the ears and then hide them. That is 1, back down, back up is 2. But the whole time you're squeezing that rib cage down, squeezing those abs as tight as you possibly can. So in your own time, 5 slow and controlled reps. So if you want to start and say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Now, if this feels too much up on the toes, you can do this from your knees also. Just trying to get a feel for pressing into that floor, activating as much of our shoulders and our lats as we possibly can, as well as our chest, to hide those ears. Beautiful. Nice. Cool. Now, the next stage that we're going to go into once we've done these, last little piece, is now we're going to add even more body weight vertically up over our hands, okay? So again, when we chat about standing on our feet, our hip is the main point of focus for control and stability, right? When you flip that upside down, your shoulder then becomes that focal point of strength and stability and movement, right? So we're going to just gradually add a little bit more intensity through load, as in our own body weight, this time. So how we're going to do that is the format we're going to use is 30-second hold, 30-second rest, okay? And we're just going to alternate legs. Now I'm going to show you what that means. So you're going to get yourself into your pike position and we're going to raise one leg up as high as we possibly can, okay? Now this is where a lot of flexibility and things come into play. So ideally you can get heel over your hip, hip over your shoulder, shoulder over your wrist. I'm not going to demonstrate that for you because I'm not that flexible, but I'll do my very best. So the idea is to get yourself into your piked position, set yourself up as tight as you possibly can. Now from here, I'm squeezing my abs, my head's through the window and pressing through the floor. I'm going to bring one leg up as high as I possibly can, and I'm going to hold. Now, the idea is, I'll try and exaggerate it for you. When I bring my leg up, we're trying to avoid our hips twisting, okay? The whole time we're trying to keep our hips as square as we possibly can. So if I'm in this position here, I want to avoid lifting the leg and my hips suddenly twisting round to face you. The whole time our hips should be in line with our shoulders. Our shoulders aren't going to twist, so ideally our hips are not also. So what to do is just find that position just now. Just do like a little hold, and see how it feels. Do like a 2-second hold on one leg, 2-second hold on the other. I just need to grab my charger before this dies. Few seconds, team.
Oh, gee whiz.
I didn't see you, but I heard you.
Felt like cramp.
Yeah, so you'll find that your hip flexors and your lower abs are going to light up here to try and stabilize everything, right? Your hip flexors, your lower abs are going to do everything they can to pull you back down the way, okay? Squeeze as tight as you can through the core, the upper core. Squeeze your bum as tight as you can, and that way we're going to fight the flexion and extension together, right? So we all played about with it.
Yeah.
Suddenly you'll feel that maybe like your hip flexors feel real tight, but you should also feel that stretch or the sort of increased weight going through your shoulder.
Oh, what's happening?
This time it's 30 seconds in the hold with the left leg in the air, for example. 30 seconds rest. Then we're going to swap over to the right leg. Then we're going to go back. Then we're going to go back.
Okay.
Cool. I'm not starting.
I've got
yet. Cool. And we'll get going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Nice. So the whole time, I know there's an added element here, but we're still pressing through the floor. We're hiding those ears. You're squeezing that rib cage down as much as you possibly can. And don't forget to breathe. Turtles breathe.
Yeah.
Pretend you're a turtle. Wrong, Tony. Good. Head through the window. Try not to let your shoulders drift out over your hands. We still want the shoulder over the wrist. 5, 3, 2, 1. And rest. Beautiful. Good, team.
Oh, that's hard.
We're going to swap legs in this next one. Nice. So again, we're trying to keep this ideal position is it would go wrist from the floor, would go wrist to the shoulder, to the hip, to the toe. So try not to lean forward, close those shoulders off a little bit by letting the shoulder drift in front of the hands. And the next one, we're going to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Opposite leg. Try and keep those shoulders and hips as square as we can. There you go, Tony. Perfect. Good, Jill. Abs as tight as you can. Strong, Jen. Good, Jill. Strong, Greg. Awesome, guys. Keep pressing through the floor. Hide those ears as much as we can. Squeeze the abs as if I was going to come punch you in the stomach.
And breathe.
Yeah, remember to breathe. A lot of moving parts, or not moving in this case. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Beautiful. Adds a little bit more intensity from last week, right?
There
There we go. Cool. We got 20 seconds. We'll get back to
Wow. Ouch.
Just remember, it could always get worse. Last week's easy compared to this one.
Yeah.
In 5, back to the first leg. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Pressing through that floor. Get those shoulders to hide those ears. Think bad deadlift position. We're looking for that slight arch in the back. Squeezing that rib cage down as much as we possibly can. Remember to breathe. And fight through. How high can we get that leg? 10 seconds. Keep holding, guys. Good, Jen. There you go. Good, Jill. Strong, Tony. There you go, Greg. Solid. And rest there, team. Beautiful. 30 seconds. Let me go again. Good, guys. 10 seconds. We're going into the last one. In 3, 2, 1. let's go. Last one. Let's make it the best one. Press through the floor as hard as we can. Hide those ears. How high can we get that leg? But make sure we're not compromising. We're squeezing those abs as tight as we possibly can. We've got that arch in the back. Beautiful, guys. Good. Keep the shoulder over the wrist. Try not to drift forward. There you go, Tony. Good fix. Well done. Keep pressing, guys. You got 10 seconds. Good, Jill. Head through the window. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Rest. Beautiful. Awesome, guys.
My quads gave up there.
Yeah, everything. So like you'll find in those positions there that your hip flexors, your quads, lower abs, everything there will try its hardest to work together. That's what we're looking for. If you, like me, your hip flexors light up first on things like V-ups or anything like that, it just screams that you got crazy tight hip flexors. We need to work on those, right? But that's good. How is our lower backs feeling? Anyone got a tight lower back through any of that?
No.
Good answer. Good answer. The idea is anytime if you do anything, let's say it could be overhead, it could be the handstand, it could be handstand hold, handstand walk, handstand push-up, whatever it may be. If your lower back starts getting tight, it means we're avoiding that turtle position here and we're in this big extended back, right? So you'll never forget it now. It sounds silly. You pretend to be a turtle. When's the last time someone told you to pretend to be a turtle, right? But that's what we want you to think. Bad deadlift position for the weightlifters out there, right? We don't want to see that crazy rounded back, midway through the lift. I can show you a few Instagram videos that went up recently with a crazy rounded back. But we want abs as tight as we possibly can, right? Creating as much tension through our fingertips all the way through our body to our toes. Yeah, that's why we point our toes away from us also. So today we had passed through everything we did last week, and we added a little bit more intensity. Now next week's going to be the same thing. We're going to pass through all those positions again. That might get a bit repetitive and seem a bit boring, but those are the positions that we need to be strong in to then progress towards everything else, right? It's the same thing. If I give you a barbell and you can't perform, or forget the barbell, if you can't perform an air squat, you're going to have a hard time performing a snatch, right? You got to get the basics down before we start chucking all the fancy stuff in. And it's a perfect time right now, the situation that we're in, that we can force ourselves to work on the things that we've maybe neglected or there's not been time in class to kind of work through, right? So next week, you will probably need something like a foam roller or like a stack of books, something like that. Something that's just going to lift your legs off the floor a little bit. So I'll show you an example. So you've got your turtle shape that we did. You might think that's hard enough, but we're going to make it slightly harder with a foam roller. Now this transfers through one for your handstand, but also through your kipping movements. If you've ever done them on the rig, so whether it be a kipping toaster bar, kipping pull-up, muscle, whatever it may be. Now I know I said at the start that we should have the strict movements down before we do the kipping one, 100% in all of the movements. But the kip alone is a completely separate movement. So we can learn the movement of the kip before we start adding a pull-up to that movement, if that makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. So we can learn the foundations of the kip itself before we start adding crazy pulls or toaster bars and stuff, because again, we have to build the foundational strength before we get to that. But that turtle position is going to transfer over to both. We're still looking at handstands, right? So this is going to go on my quads. One, it's not going to feel good if you've got tight quads, but the idea is, it's on my quads, mid-quad. Now it's going to roll down, so I'll teach you it next week, but we put it mid-quad because as it rolls down, if we start just above the knee, it then rolls over your kneecap and it doesn't feel nice at all. But we're going to get ourselves into the position we were in. I'm squeezing my bum as tight as I possibly can. I don't know if you can see from where I am.
Not too bad.
As tight as you possibly can. I'm pressing away as well as in. Now, turtle position, we know I need to lift my chest up off of the floor. So from here over to here.
Oh. God, it's painful.
So, what you're going to get through there, is your lats are going to light up way more than they did before. We're still trying to get those armpits in as close to the ground as we possibly can. our shoulders are going to have to work 10 times as hard, as well as our core is going to have to try and work 100 times harder to stabilize the position that we're in, right? Because we've got greater range of motion going on. Now that's going to help the handstand, because it's just a progression from the one we've done, but it's also the same position as we are in when we do the back swing in our kip, your arch position. We have the hollow we pass through and the arch, right? So that's just going to build that shoulder position and shoulder strength in those positions before we start adding crazy movements to them, right? But if you have any questions, give me a shout. It's been recorded, so if you can't make it next week, don't worry. The link will go up on Facebook, I'm assuming, the members page, and I think it's available for 7 days. So you have like a week after it's happened to try and get it done. And again, if you have any questions, just send me a message, and I can help you out. But other than that, any questions, give me a shout just now. If not, you're free to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye,
Thank you very much.
Cheers,
Bye.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a good night.
Cheers. Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye. See you later, Liam. Thank you
See you
very
later.
much.